Thank you, everybody, for joining me today on a Perezpective review of 11/22/63, Episode 3. Now, I love this episode. I can't appraise the show anymore than I already have. It is a great show. It does has its little ups and downs, of course, but overall, it is a great show. I keep recommending this to my friends. I keep recommending it to my family. They are jumping on. I see more people on Facebook, on Twitter, saying that they're going to go ahead and jump on and watch it. So yeah, let's go ahead and get through this episode. So, if we remember at the end of the previous episode, we do see that Bill is able to realize that Jake is a little not what he says. So when he actually sees him killing Frank Dunning, he appears back with this newspaper that says JFK has died in the 1963. Of course, he's gonna have questions. So we see Jake go ahead and just talk to Bill, go over what happened, what he's doing there. He's from the future and so forth, and Bill's a little skeptical, but he kind of believes him pretty quickly, though, which is a little bit far fetched for me. However, Bill doesn't seem to be the smartest person in the in the world, so we do see Jake is traumatized from the killing of Frank Dunning, and something that I forgot to mention in the other episode was what that owner of that boarding house or that B&B or whatever that was that he was staying in and holding says that he tells him about his award and why he didn't want to display his award from the war. It was because and this is just not an exact phrasing. I'm just kind of going. I can't remember exactly what he says, but he says something like, "You can never say that it is brave to kill a man, or you can say whatever you want about kill a man, or it's not a brave thing." Not sure exactly what it was that he said, but it's something similar. So Jake just talked to Bill about what happened, and he takes Bill to Dallas and explains what's going to happen. JFK. He tells him nobody really knows what happened. Of course, it depends on what theory or what conspiracy theory you want to believe in. You can decide if people do know, if people don't know, if certain people know, if it was just Lee, up to you. But in Jake's mind, he's not too sure if what happened or what the popular belief as far as the solo Lee killing is the right theory. So he talks to Bill. Bill kind of decides that he actually wants to stay because he has nothing to go back to. His sister is dead back in Tennessee or in Kentucky, and there is nothing for him to go back to. And he says that he wants to help save JFK, which is something that I don't mind at this point. We do need someone to help Jake in keeping tabs on Lee. Although we later on find out that Bill's a little bit of an idiot. I don't know if it's because he's like he says he's from a small town. He doesn't really know how to handle alcohol, as we see in the nightclub, and he actually almost gives up Jake. Although, I mean, someone who's drunk, who's gonna really believe that? Who's gonna take that really into heart? We do see that Jake meets Jack Ruby, who he stays kind of like, oh my god. Well, he is, for those of you who don't know, he is the person who actually ends up killing Lee Harvey Oswald in real life. Don't know what's going to happen here. It was just a little, I don't know if I considered it an Easter egg or not, or it's just a nod here. As in, like I said, I'm not going to compare this to the book too much, but in the book, they have something called the harmonizing past. And in what that means is that something, you either meet somebody that will come into play in the future, or something that, let's say, like, we meet later on Sadie Dunhill. Her name is very, very, very similar to the Dunnings, something like that. Now, this is the episode I've been waiting for. The episode where Jake actually enters Jody. Like I said myself, I like in the book. I love the part where he's in Jody. It is the heart of the story for me, at least. we see him grow there. We see him get attached to people there, and I was happy that he's finally in Jody. He enters the school. He meets Deke and Miss Mimi, and they get along. And we see that Miss Mimi is a little bit different here in the show than she is in the book. In the book, she's white. In the show, she is African American, which no problem with that. I think it actually helps bring some of this bring to attention some of this racial tension that's going on back in the day. That the book, even though they do bring it up, they don't focus on it, and we see how his relationship with Mimi actually gets stronger because of something like that, and I'll talk about that in a little bit later. So we see Jake actually enjoy teaching. We see the kids seem to like to learn from him. They're interested in what he's teaching. And then we fast forward 2 years, and it is really something that I'm sad about. Like I said, I really like the Jody part. Maybe we might get some more stuff in the school, and or maybe not. We don't know. So when they fast forward 2 years, we do see that Miss Mimi actually introduces Jake back to Sadie, who is the girl who he had met in Dallas when he first arrived in Dallas, who had forgot her book, and we'll see how their relationship blossoms. At first, it's not the greatest because of what he does. When he's supposed to chaperone this dance, he actually leaves to help Bill with the whole recording or the spying on Lee, where, and this is another thing that I really didn't like, that they truncated the dance itself, and is supposed to be a big part in Jake and Sadie's relationship, and he leaves. Okay, now we see them dancing, of course, and that's really where the whole relationship really comes to play. But but it is a lot shorter, and his interactions with the kids, the football players, Jim Law, and those of you who read the book will understand what I'm talking about. Um, it's not as big as I wish it would be. So I had talked about the whole racial tension, and I'm really glad that this show is not shying away from showing it. It is something that is expected for the time frame. We see a couple of times when Jake takes Bill to the apartment that they're going to be using or renting to spy on Lee. Bill asks if it's a mixed race neighborhood, and Jake just answers like, "Yeah, who cares?" And another right after that, we see the landlord who seems racist. In the book, he says he's not. Here, he says he's not. He seems pretty racist. And of course, we also see the two times where Jake and Mimi are. First of all, when he offers to give her coffee, and everybody kind of just stops and turns to him and like, "What are you doing? That's something that's not done." And she says, "Thank you." No, I think she appreciates it, but she knows that by doing that, he can look weird. He can look like he is not from that place, or he doesn't know his place. We see it again when Mimi has ran out of gas, and Jake is there to ask for gas for her, and the attendant is like, "Oh, first of all, he's like, yeah, of course we can give you gas. So let me put it in the car." And he's like, "No, I need it in the gas can," and of course he sees that it's for Miss Mimi, and she says no, she needs to go to her side of town, or on the other side of town over there across the tracks, where she needs to go get gas. And Jake stands up for her, and although once again she is grateful, she still looks like he's from another world. He doesn't know how to act, and of course he's not from another world. He's from another time where the problem is not there, or at least not as prominent. As far as, what would I like to say? I can't say it's not prominent, but it's not as big of a deal now within people, with the people talking to each other. Now, we do see the past pushing back at least twice today. At least I counted it twice. Not as major, not as big, not as in the previous episodes. Once is when Jake actually goes back to Dallas to help monitor or spy on Lee, they ended up in the attic because Lee actually comes into the house with I forgot her name, um, his wife Marina, and this is one thing that I had to say was a big goof. They are in the closet when Lee and Marina are in the house. They're in the room, right in the closet, that same closet, and they pull down the attic. Now, anybody who has lived in a house with an attic knows that that is not a silent. It's not. It's actually makes a lot of noise. So, it, for me, that was not believable. Whatever, I guess. So they're in the attic, and we see these spiders fall on top of Bill, and he actually screams, and Lee and Marina actually hear them, and he comes after them, not knowing where they're exactly where they're at, and they are able to escape. But I think that is the past pushing back. Although I think if it was the spiders should have fallen on Jake, as Jake did say earlier. Or at least I don't know if he said he was scared of him, but he was making a joke about when Al was trying to get him to go into the closet. Jake was like, "There better not be spiders in here," you know. We also see Raphael breaking into the apartment and steals their recordings, steals their equipment. And I count that as being part of the past pushing back, as just because this guy had, for no other reason, is just not liking them to. And it can just be the past pushing him to do something or try to get him to leave because they're not supposed to be there. So, yeah. What can I say? So far, everything that we talked about, I've liked. There's not a lot of that I don't like, and we do see Jake able to smooth things back with Sadie. They are going to go ahead and kiss, and he asks her on a proper date, which she accepts. And then we go back to Dallas. Jake and Bill, they follow Oswald to the Des Moines ship to a rally that is led by General Walker, or at least he's speaking there. And after the rally, Oswald just loses it. He's in a gathering or a crowd, and he just starts screaming at General Walker. He starts screaming and calls him a fascist, and the episode ends with pretty much Oswald saying, "Wake up, or I'll kill you." um, which I'm still trying to see if I like this version of Oswald. I can't say that I know enough about Oswald to know what he's supposed to be like, what his character was. He doesn't seem like someone who would be that way, but like I said, I don't know enough about him to judge that part. So yeah, that is the episode in a nutshell. I Like I said, I loved it. I didn't like it as much as episode 2, so I'll rate those in at about an 8.5. And I just hope we get to see a little bit more of Jody. Once again, I keep saying it before, we see a little bit more of Jody, we see a little bit more of him getting along with Miss Mimi, with Deke, with the people there, the students at the high school, because this really is gonna get to the point where, does he really want to mess things up by having to continue to leave to take care of things with Lee? And that's the good thing here, that Bill's there, and that's why I said before that even though Bill is an idiot, I do like that he is part, like a companion to Jake, because it is a lot of things for Jake to do, to be going back and forth from Jody to Dallas, Jody to Dallas, and I believe it's at least an hour drive back and forth. If not an hour to Dallas, an hour back. So to have Bill there, and I think that is really facilitating the story to move a little bit faster, is that Bill's going to be taking care of this. Bill will be monitoring all the stuff for Lee, and Jake will be there every once in a while. We do see that Jake thinks that he should have at least learned Russian in the first 2 years that they were there, because he wasn't able to understand anything that Marina was saying, or when Lee was talking to Marina in Russian. So he wishes he'd be able to see a bit more, understand more. He does pick up a Russian, English Russian dictionary, so I'll try to help understand what they are saying. So yeah, what do you guys think? I Like I said, I give it an 8.5. Let me know what you think on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. You guys let me know. You guys can always find me at Perezpective. We'll leave it there till next time for episode 4 and of this great series.